Hey you guys, good morning. I am back with my video about Gabrielle Unions. We are going to need more wine. I mentioned in my another update video how reading is something that I've been doing lately, and I have recently finished Gabrielle Unions' book. And I guess the reason why I want to talk about it is because she has awakened some issues that I didn't even know I had, or that I was doing and I wasn't even aware of. I'm not going to talk about everything because I don't want this video to be super duper long, but the fact that I read this book, I finished it, and I feel like it is conversation worthy, I guess you can say. I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts and reviews, and hopefully we can get a conversation started down in the comment section, because I want to engage. Like I said, I want us to talk, become a community, and keep each other uplifted with positivity and love. So let's get into it. The main thing that I'm going to talk about, the things I agree with first. The main thing that I agree with that she constantly talked about in this book is being comfortable with her blackness. Like being comfortable in her own skin and finding beauty within herself, like as in being black. I hope that I'm reading into this right. This is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but this is what I got from, you know, reading some stories in her book. And more specifically, what makes me feel like this is because she stated in one of her stories, and maybe a few of her stories, short stories, that she only dated light-skinned guys. She was only attracted to light-skinned guys because to her that validated her beauty. You know, for her, if a light-skinned man was to find her attractive, she was winning, because dark skin wasn't popular. It wasn't in. Dark skinned women wasn't the thing. Like, the lighter the better. So if you pull somebody light skinned, fair skinned, you were deemed to be beautiful. And when I read this, I'm like, dang, what? Like, why wouldn't, as pretty as she is, why wouldn't she already see herself as being beautiful? And then I took another step back and was like, wait a minute, I think I did this. Like, I'm almost 100% sure I acted like this and did the same thing growing up. And I could even take it as far back as the 2nd grade. Like, when I was in the 2nd grade, I only wanted the light-skinned guys to look my way. In 2nd grade, like in 2nd grade, I only wanted the light-skinned guys to look my way, because not even sure why I got this thought process, but I told myself, like, if this light-skinned guy that looks nothing like me or should find me attractive find me attractive, I gotta be cute. You know what I'm saying? Already at 2nd grade, I'm starting to play these thoughts of my skin is not pretty enough, and in order for me to be pretty enough, I need somebody light skinned to tell me that and to validate that. And I honestly have no idea where this came from. I have no idea how I got this idea or this assumption. You know what I'm saying? I can say that now, you know, being in my skin right now, that was an assumption that only light-skinned guys can validate my beauty. So let's fast forward into, mind you, I did get the light-skinned guy with green eyes in 2nd grade, and for a short while I was like, yeah, I must be beautiful because he loves me. He can't, you know, he can't stop smiling at me. Like, seriously, in the 2nd grade, I couldn't make this up. So let's fast forward and go a little bit deeper than that. I specifically remember in the 5th grade, and I'm still friends with this person that I'm getting ready to tell you guys about. I remember in the 5th grade, kind of scanning the classroom, seeing who I was going to be friends with, seeing who, you know, I felt like was going to be the cool kids and the cool crowd, so I could attach myself to that image, so I can too be a part of the cool kids and the cool crowd in the 5th grade. So I immediately found this light-skinned female with the beautiful eyes. Her eyes were hazel. And I immediately was like, oh, she gonna be my friend. And she didn't even, like, I'm sure she wasn't paying me no attention. I'm sure, you know, we were just all trying to, you know, feel like get through our first day of school. But I immediately zoned in on her, and I told myself, I'm gonna make her my friend because she's beautiful, because her skin is light and her eyes are light, and I know everybody thinks that she's beautiful because that's just what beauty was, you know. So immediately I approached her and was like, hey, you don't know me, but we're gonna be friends. And I don't think until many years later that I explained what my approach was all about. It was, you were beautiful, you were deemed beautiful, your skin was light, your hair was long, straight, pretty, and your eyes were light. And so in order for me to feel like I could be accepted, I needed a light-skinned person whose skin was much lighter than mine to be my best friend, because if you accept me and my dark skin, I must be like legit, like I must be beautiful, I must be cool, because I have someone that looks completely different than me, whose appearance is deemed beautiful even in the 5th grade, to be my best friend. So my goal was to make this girl my friend so I can be beautiful via association. So when I was reading this, I'm like, damn, how deep is this though? Like in the 2nd and 5th grade, I can already run this thought process through my head of how can I get ahead with my dark skin? How can I get ahead with my dark eyes? How can I get ahead with my thick curly hair that is nowhere near popular because it's unmanageable, it's nappy, it's just everything nobody wants to come across. So how can I in my young age prepare for my future of acceptance? I can tell you how I'm gonna get a light-skinned boyfriend and I'm gonna get a light-skinned best friend. So these two together can just put me on the pedestal. I could do the rest of the work. All I need them to do is validate my beauty. So I kind of was just like taken back, like when I was reading this. I'm like, wow, like how do we at such young age, at such a young age, try to figure out how to deem ourselves as beautiful? Like, how come we aren't worried about going outside? How come we aren't worried about just playing and enjoying life? We're already at such a young age trying to fixate on how we could become beautiful. And that was one part of her book that I really appreciated, because, you know, now looking at Gabrielle Union, like, she's confident, she's beautiful, she's fierce, she's a boss. Like, you know, how in the world would this woman not ever be confident? You know, and that's something that I still struggle with every single day, is my confidence. It's not necessarily my skin tone and my hair texture anymore, because now we have these movements where accepting all shades of brown and light and black and whatever shade you are is deemed beautiful in its own way. And now all textures of hair, curly, straight, kinky, whatever it may be, is becoming beautiful now. So I have attached myself to these movements where, you know what, I am beautiful, you know what I'm saying, just the way that I am. My skin and the color that it is just fine, and the thickness and the craziness of my hair is just fine. I'm not saying that I've reached perfection in that, but I've become way more comfortable in the skin that I am in, because of all of these courageous women around the world standing in their truth and in their identity and refusing to change what God has made them to be to fit in. So that is one part of Gabrielle's book that I was just like, wow, I appreciate her honesty in that moment, because, you know, we don't hear that enough, that we just see the end result, but we don't know how people started off, or, you know, what struggles they came across just being comfortable in their own skin. So I definitely appreciated that about Gabrielle Union's book. Another part of her book that I really truly enjoyed is the fact that she is so protective over her stepsons, and she is very aware of the world that we live in today, and being black is seen as a lethal weapon. Unfortunately, as innocent and as harmless as our children are and as our husbands are, we are still deemed as a threat you know, and our lives can be taken at any moment because we are misunderstood. We are pushed in this box of what is it? We are put in this box of being most feared. And for her to talk about her fame and how still she is a black woman with a black husband and black children means absolutely nothing. She still gets up and worries about them. She still gets up and tries to figure out how, you know, to preserve their life and their innocence, because they are still black. Regardless of how much money they have, they are still black. And so I appreciated that because, you know, in my honesty, I always try to live in safe environments, or, you know, live in a place where I think my children are going to be safe, or where I think we can go to sleep with the windows open at night, you know. But even still, we are surrounded by this dangerous world because of our blackness. And no matter how much we move up, we're still going to have to face those obstacles every single day. So for her to be in that caliber of fame, and with Dwayne Wade being in that caliber of fame, and still worry the way that they do, because no matter how much money they make, they're still gonna wake up and be black. You know what I'm saying? So for her to share that just shows how human she is, and how, you know, working on ourselves within is more important than trying to establish a dollar amount, because money doesn't save us from this unfortunate, divided, hateful world that we live in. So her pouring into those moments of trying to protect her sons, her stepsons, meant a lot to me, because every day I wake up and I'm like, I hope my husband comes home today. You know, I pray my husband comes home today, because he is deemed a threat just for waking up. He's just a threat. So, you know, I definitely appreciated her sharing how, you know, at times she's very vulnerable, because that's just the world that we live in. Now, to some things that I didn't necessarily agree with is how she views her sex life. This definitely could be because I was raised in this old school way, but I don't want to put that completely on that. I want to stand firm in my beliefs and in my truth. I definitely feel like there is a double standard when it comes to men and women, as far as how many partners each has, as far as, you know, just sex in general. Let's just say that word. Let me just be comfortable and say that word. Sex in general, when it comes to men and women, there is a double standard. And I totally understand why, as a woman, you want to say, I have the right to make those choices without being deemed a hoe, or without being deemed a slut, or whatever the case may be. You know, this is my body and I have that right. But the reason why I disagree with her stance on that is because I do feel like there's a price to pay when you attach yourself to so many bodies. When you lay down with people and you have sex with people, there is an attachment that comes with that. I do not believe, and this just is my opinion, I do not believe there is a such thing as laying down with people, having sexual intercourse with people, and not leaving with some part of that person attached to you. That is just my own personal belief, and this is why I just disagree with one of her statements as saying as, this is my vagina, I do what I want to do with it. I can go to every country in the world and sleep with one man from each country and be perfectly fine with that. So I definitely don't agree with that, and I would never tell my daughters that a day in my life. Like, I'm not saying that not exploring your sexuality is a bad thing, but you want to also be careful in making wise choices while doing that. Being a Christian and believing in Jesus and believing in the Bible, I do feel like it's important to have that end goal of sleeping with just your husband. I do. Did I do that? No, I did not. Did I pay a price for that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I paid the price for having multiple sex partners not being my husband. There comes a lot of baggage. There comes a lot of spiritual ties. There comes a lot of darkness because we are opening up ourselves in a way that makes us extremely vulnerable with absolutely no protection. Because I feel like there are a lot of demons and there are a lot of spiritual connections to people that we can't see from a fleshy standpoint. And if we're just constantly chasing the flesh, we are putting ourselves in dangerous situations to be attached to people's darkness and people's demons that we are not prepared to fight, because we're just putting ourselves in very vulnerable situations. So I will say that I definitely don't agree with just doing whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it with the box. If it's loosely sleeping with men from every country, I don't. I don't agree with that, and I would never tell my daughters to do that. So there's a lot of other things that Gabrielle Unions talked about in her book that I really appreciated. I really feel like she was as honest as she could be. I feel like she was as transparent as she could be. And I feel like when you're in this journey of finding yourself and writing your own story, Gabrielle Unions presents the proper tools of, hey, just be yourself. If people like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. Live your truth. Be your truth, and whoever rocks with you rocks with you, and if they don't, they don't. So she inspired me to actually just sit behind this camera and just share, like, I did some of those things too. I didn't even know I was doing them, and then now that I have recognized it, I feel kind of ashamed for it, because I mean, how awful is that? How awful is it to be a brown-skinned woman looking at other brown-skinned people saying you are not cute enough, you are not pretty enough because you're not light? That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? But I am in my truth, and I'm living my life, and I'm just expressing myself as honestly and as transparent as I can. So I hope that my truth will just inspire. You know what I'm saying? Just inspire somebody just to live your honest truth. So thank you, Gabrielle Unions, for sharing your story. It was funny. It was sad. You had some sad stories in there. You had some absolutely hilarious stories, but you also had some very true and real stories. So I definitely appreciate reading Gabrielle Unions' book, We're Gonna Need More Wine. You guys drop comments, thumbs up the video if, you know, my next book, you want to hear my thoughts and, you know, opinions about it. Tell me some books. Like, what are you guys reading out there? Like, what do you guys find to be inspiring? Who's your favorite author? What's your favorite book? Let me know, you know, because I'm definitely interested in reading more, because it's just so many avenues once you start reading and just focusing on something other than social media, other than the internet and just craziness out there. So I really enjoyed my time reading this book, and I don't want to talk too much, so I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all soon enough. Bye.